Hey, it's Joe Glines from the-automator, and someone was asking me to explain this code and walk through it. I'm gonna, well, I guess I should share the code. This wrapping of text, and what I was trying to explain is, they were getting hung up on the clipboard, and it's really not the clipboard, right? Clipboard's used a lot, but it's irrelevant, right? It could have been any sort of variable after I get it, from the content I'm selecting. The only reason why I used clipboard is because this function goes and says select the text and copy it to the clipboard, and so I just left it on the clipboard. The string replace, this is a function, and really what you should do, let me duplicate it, comment it out, is think of it this way. So I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to get rid of this. Right? Now, if you look at it this way, it's very simple. We're going to take the whatever variable this is, and we're going to look for this, and when we find that, we're going to replace it with that, right? It's that simple. And we just do that multiple times, and so it just depends on what you're doing. Now, because there are, line breaks and new lines and returns, this does get a little complicated in what we're trying to achieve, but the actual code itself is very simple, because, look, that's the same thing I'm doing here, right? If we get rid of this and this, it's the same thing, right? I just used that twice, and then down here, this is prepending the original one and the last one. But I could go into this, but I'd rather show you another way. I was working through it up here, and now what I did do was I went into my function. So this function down here, this Clipboard Backup copy select text, instead of having it in a function, I thought I'd just go ahead and share it here, because I don't like to just do something where it's I wanted to have a little more value added, so I thought I'd break it out here. So first I'm going to store the clipboard, the full contents of the clipboard into clipback, and then we need to blank it, so I'm blanking the clipboard, and then I send Control-C, and then, just as a safeguard, I tell clipwait. Now this is one thing I don't like about AutoHotkey. Almost anywhere else, one would be 1/100th, or sorry, 1/1000th of a second, 1 millisecond. But on clipwait, it's one. I'm not sure if there's any others, but it's 1 second. So it says wait for 1 second. If the clipboard doesn't end up having content in it, all this checks is that does the clipboard have content? That's all it checks. It doesn't check does the content change. It checks does the clipboard have content. If after 1 second, right, if it doesn't have content, then this is going to trigger the error level where we restored the clipboard, and I put up a message box saying no text was actually sent to the clipboard, and it stops, right? But usually it will highlight the text and copy it. So that's all of this right here is just basically backing up my clipboard, making sure content's in it, and then do something with it. So what I chose to do was, instead of using the stir replace, let's use, we're going to use a for loop and loop over line by line. And so this is the new line feed, and this is the end of line. I think this ignores it, and this says look for every new line feed, but loop over it. And let's, before we do this, let's do it in here, message box row. Oh, you know what? And I don't even, well, I do need I there because it needs to be the second one. So see how row is here? Whatever word I put here, right? That's what I'm going to use, and that's why I use it here. So let me save this. I'm going to launch it. And I'm using Site instead of Studio because Studio, actually it should be fine. Actually, Studio would be fine on this one. Sorry. It's when you're sending text back and forth, that's where it has problems. So like hot strings, right? I'm not doing any of that, so I could have used Studio, but I'm in here. So anyway, so I'm going to hit Control W. Now notice this is the 1, this is the 2, and this is the 3, right? Now what it's doing there is, let me, I don't think I have, funny enough, I don't have my normal developer, code here to use my normal hot string, so I don't have my reload. But this, where are we? Right here. This message box row, that's what we're seeing there, right? I'm going to add a return here for now, and that'll just stop it. So I'm going to relaunch this, and let's come over here, and let's put Joe was here, highlight it all, hit Control W. Right now it's Joe, and then was, and then here. Right? So we're looping over each line. And to me, the logic is a little simpler of like, hey, now that we have each line isolated, I'm going to get rid of this. Now that you get that. So now, and just in this example, look, I put something here for pre with a pipe to show how close we are, and then a pipe post, And then, you know, let me get rid of this. So you'll see the first time I did this, I forgot I needed to add that. So I'm going to save this, relaunch it, come in here. Now when I hit my Control W, oh, did I not reload it? Apparently I, for some reason, did not save. There it goes, reloaded. Yeah, should be good. Control W. Oh, I put that return. Yeah, loads of fun. So now we're going to see this work. You know, let me finish this off here real quick. So it shoves it into data. It's a dot equals, which means it's going to keep appending to it, right? As it looped over it, we're shoving it into this variable data. Each one's going to keep appending to it. But then, of course, when I send paste, I guess I could have done a message box on data here just for this example. But we want to actually, you know, send it back out. So and let's move this up one row. So oops, wrong. There we go. So I'm going to send Control V, right? So that's going to paste it. And then we're going to blank data because this here is the dot equals. We keep appending to it. If I ran this script twice, it would have kept the initial data and then appended it again, right? You know what? Let's clear that out. We'll demonstrate that as well. So all right. So let me relaunch. Come back to here. Control W. So notice the pre-pipe Joe pipe post, and then notice, hey, what happened to our line breaks, right? Well, that was what. Let me undo. Let me go back to this guy now. That was why in here, right? We need to have those at least a line return or a new line. So let's just use a new line. That should be fine. No, actually, I would do R tick in. This is how I would normally do it. Is hopefully how I had it before. Someone can catch me. It doesn't really matter, I think. So now I'm going to do this. And now when I hit Control W, there we go. So pre-pipe Joe pipe post. So whatever you want these to be, right? That's what you'll put on surrounding the row. Row is your, you know, your value as it's looping over each line, right? So it's that simple. That's why I thought this is a little simpler of code, because it's just like, hey, whatever you want here, put it in. Whatever you want, you know, on the other side, put it in. And now you know why we needed these, right? Because when we're looping over it, it's gotten rid of those line breaks, right? So we need to add them back in. Now, this last one, to finish it up here, this data, I didn't blank it out, right? So watch what happens if I hit undo. Now I'm going to run it again. Watch what happens, right? It doubled. What if I do it again? Now it quadrupled, I suppose. And look, we had a little error here. This is because back here, I didn't blank this out, right? Because this line here is I'm appending to it, and I didn't reload my script. I just keep rerunning it, right? And AutoHotkey doesn't automatically, you know, reload. So we need to rerun. We need to blank that variable or reload the script. So now let me undo. Control W. Oh, did that not run? Saved. Relaunch. Oops, sure don't want to print that. So Control W. Undo. I'm going to highlight it all. Now Control W. Notice it doesn't keep. It only has one instance of that. So I hope that helps. Oh, I do want to mention this one last thing. Where after we blank it, so basically after we send paste, if you're going to restore the clipboard or do anything with the clipboard after you send a paste, add a sleep. This probably 50 would be fine. I did 150 here. I have no idea why, because who cares, right? It's so tiny fraction, you know, of a second. But if you don't have a little sleep here, it will shove in, it quite possibly will shove in your old content before the paste hits. And it's not an actual flaw in AutoHotkey. It's just the order of operations and how things happen so fast within the computer that before it can actually send the paste, it has shoved in, it says, oh, send paste. Okay, I'll send paste. Meanwhile, you've restored the data, and then when it hits paste, the clipboard has your original data. And so that one, I've spent a lot of time on that when I first discovered that. And then I searched the forum, and of course there was some stuff there talking about it. But that's why you want to make sure if you you want to restore your clipboard or put new content in the clipboard, you know, if you're pasting around it, make sure you have a little sleep in between. All right, I hope that helps you guys. This is a great, it's a great thing to be able to do, to be able to highlight some text and wrap it. This one makes it a little easier, a little clearer, because the code in this one, it's you know, more straightforward in the sense of it's a little shorter, I think, but the logic on how I got to where I got and what you're putting in these and telling them where to, you know, put in the content on each one. And I know this could have been condensed even more, right? But I did this pretty fast when I first did it. And this is my functions, which if you're not using functions, best way, I think, to level up. But I hope that helps. Cheers.